Okay, so we're still on intercepts, finding intercepts, x and y intercepts of the line, and this is the second video for this section. So we're going to put in, right, a 0 for x and a 0 for y. And then we're going to graph those 2 points, and that graphs the line. So 0 for x, I guess I should put parentheses there since that was my substitution. I think I pressed too hard with my pen, and that's what happens with those silly lines that keep showing up. So when I put 0 in for x, I find that y equals 4. Okay, so that is my y-intercept because 0 went in for x and I solved for y. And then let's put the 0 in for y. So x minus 2 times 0 equals negative 8. So that's eliminated, and I just end up with x equals negative 8. And so we can graph these 2 points, and that will make the line. So there's the point at 0, 4. And then I'm going to have a point at negative 8, 0. And then, of course, I attempt to draw that line. It's so-so. I usually make my points bigger if I miss just a little bit. Okay, so that line is graphed. We had an x-intercept at negative 8, 0, and a y-intercept at 0, 4. Okay, here's the next one. So I'm going to substitute once again. And this time I'm going to find a third point. So we're going to put in a 0 for x, a 0 for y, and then I'm going to put in a 4 for the y also. Okay, so here's the first calculation. 2 times 0 plus 3y equals 6. And so that makes this term gone. I'm dividing by 3, and y is 2. All right, so that was my first calculation, right there. And then I'm going to say 2x plus 3 times 0 equals 6. We eliminate that term and divide by 2. X is 3. So we just found the x-intercept, right? We find the y-intercept when we're solving for y and the x-intercept when we're solving for 3. And so that was kind of that calculation. Now, last one, I'll just go over here. I'm going to say 2x plus 3 times 4 equals 6. Now, I chose this for a particular reason. I believe that this comes out to make us nice numbers. That's a 12, so I'm going to subtract 12 on both sides. Oh, let me go ahead and write that out. So 2x plus 12 equals 6. I'm going to subtract 12 because I'm solving for x. You had to learn that solving equations in the previous chapter in order to be ready for this chapter. Then we divide by 2 to solve, and x is negative 3. So let's graph these ordered pairs. I have one point at 0, 2, at 3, 0, and at negative 3, 4. And you can see that this makes a line, so we must have done okay on finding our points. No mistakes there. Draw your line. And we're finished. Okay, now that third point, the negative 3, 4, that was a checkpoint to make sure that we didn't make a mistake when we were finding our intercepts. All right, we have a little more time. Let's graph one more. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit tricky, I believe, because when I put in the zeros, I'm going to get the same thing, right? So y equals negative 2 times 0, so y is 0. And then if I put 0 in for y, 0 equals negative 2 times x, divide by negative 2, and I get that x equals 0. So this is a special case where the x and y intercepts are at the exact same spot, that's because this line goes through the origin, which is at 0, 0. So we have to choose at least one more point. So let's do a couple more. How about -1 and 1? And so we're just going to substitute those in. Y equals -2 times -1. So that would give me 2. Y equals -2 times 1. That gives me -2. So we've already graphed the point 0, 0. Then I have -1, 2. I have 1, -2. And that is our line for this equation. Draw the line. Always remember, draw the line. Hit the points the best you can. You can see that I'm not always the best at hitting those points. So I wanted to get this equation on this video because the next ones are something different to talk about. Okay, so this is the second lesson. I'll see you guys on the next lesson for section 3.3.